Metal Map, sponsored by Metal Street Radio. Crank it up!
It's a real honour to have you on the channel today, Kane. So, yeah, thanks for being here.
Hey, how you doing, Matt? It's nice to talk to you.
I'm good, man. Yeah, very good, very good. I'm here in Mexico at the moment. It's a little bit hot, but I'm getting used to it. You know, as a British guy, it takes some adjustment. But yeah, how are you doing out there? Where are you at the moment?
I'm in California, Studio City, Hollywood, right around that area.
Oh wow, very nice. Cool.
Yeah, the weather's trying to get better, but I think we have some 49 degrees. And I'm from the East Coast, so used to be 0, but now 50 degrees is cold to me.
Oh
so
wow,
turned into a wimp. What?
I know the feeling. Honestly, yeah. Anytime I go back to the UK, I'm like, oh, I can't handle that cold anymore. I don't know how I ever did it.
I don't like it that much. It's like you go out to your car, you gotta break all the ice off the car, and then
Yeah, there's all that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a lot of effort. Yeah, a lot of effort. I wanted to get into a bit about, obviously, your Alice days, seeing as that's something that had such an impact on my life. My dad was playing this stuff all the time. 2 of the top albums I'd hear constantly was Raise Your Fist and Yell and Constrictor. And
Yeah.
I literally grew up on that stuff. And, Chop, Chop, Chop's one of my favorite songs. And
Geez, that whole trilogy is insane.
Yeah.
And just writing it with Alice, the way the lyrics just, poured out of them, and we were on the road, and we would stop in different cities and find a recording studio. And it was always it wasn't like a big studio. It would always be like some kid's house. For some reason, we wanted to do that. So we would find, a local and say, hey, do you know anybody that has like a local studio? We go into some guy, he couldn't even believe Alice Cooper and I were there. Alice, not me so much, but, it's kind of amazing. So, yeah.
That's
so we
crazy.
wrote that, and for example, I've mentioned this before, but Prince of Darkness, those lyrics are so incredibly, they're so accurate and clear and filled with like all this intensity and mystery. And it literally took him 20 minutes. He was eating Doritos on a couch, and he came home. He said, "Hey, I got the lyrics," and I went, "Seriously?" So. He's that good, and I just heard an interview with him. The guy's just, he just knows. His brain is so insanely sharp, and creative. Really crazy.
Yeah, no, he is. He's always struck me as just completely like a really intelligent guy. His lyrics are always kind of take you somewhere different than anyone else has ever kind of took you. He gets into the whole horror mindset, and he becomes that character. Pretty evil character on those albums you did. Pretty pretty dark stuff, which I always loved. Really cool horror kind of stuff. That's cool to know his writing process, because I was interested how it was. Were you there for a lot of the writing sessions, or were you just there for the?
Oh yeah, no. He and I wrote every bit of it together.
Wow.
Kip Winger on Gale, he wrote that keyboard part, on harpsichord, and
Really?
because he has such a classical bass. I mean, he just it was a Grammy nomination for classical composition. But see, the thing about a harpsichord is that the notes are all the same volume, so you have to write and have pauses and perform it so that you're almost simulating notes being quieter and louder, and he just got the whole thing. It's a really, really great keyboard part, so he's part writer on that song.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, he's obviously Kip Winger, amazing. He's doing his own thing with Winger now. I met him out here in Cozumel actually recently, or last year or something. He was doing the Monsters of Rock cruise, and it's only a short trip away from Cancun, so that was cool. Really cool guy, and obviously, he was another big part of these albums. Really cool guy. And how was it working with him on these, on the tours? And I was hearing that if it wasn't for you, he might not have got on the tour. Is that right? I was hearing something.
Well, yeah. I mean, Alice and I we met. Bo, we're doing that Constrictor record, and Bo Hill brought him in, and I knew two things immediately. Incredibly talented, just be an awesome member in any band. Great singer, great bass player, creative, smart guy, and he's out of his mind. So I just said I got to get this guy in the band. And I remember, when we went to start hiring people, Kip was with us, and different drummers would come in. There was a guy from Concrete Blonde, really great player. A lot of people came in, but just, Ken Mary just had, he had the drum shred thing just all over the place. And his sense of time was it was perfect. So, and then, we put the rest of the band together. But, he and Shep Gordon were nice enough to make me music director. So I ended up, hiring everybody and then, formulating how the music would work in the show, like all the different theatrics that were happening. And I kind of wrote like a heavy metal soundtrack behind it. So.
Wow, that's crazy. So you were really hands-on for these tours. You really got involved.
Yeah, and it's their sense of trust, and of course, just Alice sitting there is an amazing influence. It's so intense. I mean, the guy, I've said this before, but on that The Nightmare Returns, we start that first chords, Paul Taylor played the first chords, and it was at Joe Louis Arena. Everybody, starts cheering and everything, and Alice goes, "Welcome to my nightmare," and it just exploded. And the band is basically shitting themselves, because we'd never done anything like this, So when we start walking up on stage, we're nervous, and as soon as Alice busts through that cage door, none of us were nervous because he just controlled every moment of that. And that was the way it was for the rest of the tour. We all felt really sort of almost arrogantly confident about everything because the boss was just so fucking badass,
Of course, no, he knows how to own the stage, and I from watching those shows, I can definitely see you kind of caught on to some of that energy of his, because you kind of dominated the stage with your own charisma as well, and it was just like the two of you were like an unforgettable force of nature.
I knew I had to bring some beast to the show.
Definitely,
and that's kind of what Alice and I did, and he see, the thing is, he had never done a heavy metal version of No More Mr. Nice Guy or any of that stuff.
No.
But he fucking killed it. It was like, what? You know what I mean? Like, so
definitely.
What I've learned since then is you can put him in any setting and he will shine. It could be a Broadway play, TV comedy, whatever it is. Alice is just, universally, he communicates on such a universal level,
That's very true. Yeah, he's totally just a showman. Like you say, he could do anything pretty much. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in anything because he can get into the zone. I think that's what's cool about Alice. He totally just gets into the zone of whatever he has to do, and it's authentic, it's real, and he makes the audience believe it. He demands they believe it. There's no there's no holdbacks. It's totally just. And it is real, the approach you guys had. I mean, like you say, you were all on the same page, and you did bring that beast. Whenever I refer to you to anyone, I say he's a beast, Kane. He's there's no other way.
That's what we were going for. We needed to tear anybody that saw us a new one. You know what I mean? That's exactly the way we looked at it. And he was fully on board with it. And and then I did that little tour with him recently. And number one, what an unbelievable band. I mean, they're just so good. And Nita, she knocked my head off a long time ago, and I just love watching her, just play and shred, and just her own band is killer with her husband there, Josh. I mean, she's doing amazing, and the rest of the guys, Tommy Hendrickson, Ryan Roxy, Glenn Sobel, and Chuck Garrick. They're just so incredibly talented and professional. And it's funny, in that setting, it's almost like they're a little bit underrated. I mean,
Totally.
Need is such a dominant force, and see, one of the things that's great about having Nita in the band is, you go to the show and you go in there to see Alice. It was the same, when I was there, but it's like a bunch of old guys, and then if you just look to the right a little bit, there's a beautiful blonde there that shreds her ass off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's fucking perfect. You know what I mean? So I think it was good. I felt like, I was another old guy up there, but I had fun. It was really good.
Yeah, no, exactly. They all bring their own kind of energy, and charisma.
Yeah,
They've all got
definitely.
different
They're all
qualities.
great players too. Yeah.
Metal Man, sponsored by Metal Street Radio. Crank it up.